Hey guys, welcome back to Countdown to Christmas, exclusively on Roaring Tides. Today is day 2, and we'll be recapping and reviewing A Very Brady Christmas, which is a TV movie which aired back in 1988. As the movie starts off, Carol and Mike Brady are originally finishing up a workout on their exercise bikes, which they had bought themselves the year before for Christmas. Well, this year brought some shocking headaches for both of them. As they start off, you see, Carol wanted to buy Mike a Christmas trip to Greece, while Mike wanted to use their special vacation account to buy Carol a Christmas trip to Japan. Both went on to tell the kids and Alice, who had moved back in when her own husband, Sam the butcher, left her for a younger woman and had been cheating on her. Well, what we soon learn is every one of those kids has a secret that they've been keeping from the family. You see, Greg and his wife, well, let's just say this. After it comes out that Mike and Carol both were going to use the same money for their trips, they decide to cancel both trips and just bring the kids home for Christmas. Well, each one of them has has a secret that they're keeping from Mike and Carol. Greg, he wound up coming with just his son, Kevin. Because Nora wanted to go to her family for Christmas. Peter was debating whether or not to ask his boss slash girlfriend to marry him because she had a higher position in the company that they both worked for. She was actually his boss. Then Bobby, the youngest boy, had dropped out of college the year before and was now driving race cars. Then on the girls' side, Marcia and her husband, Wally, were trying to decide whether or not to tell the family that Wally had lost his job at Tyler Toys. Marcia didn't want to keep it a secret, and Wally wanted to because he felt humiliated about it. Jan and her husband Philip were arguing because they were trying to decide if they wanted to, they both wanted to have a baby, but I guess Philip wanted to adopt if they couldn't have a baby. And then there's little Cindy, who didn't even want to come home for Christmas. She was offered the chance to go skiing with her friends instead over Christmas. But she was told to come home, so she felt she had to obey. Okay, and then after the kids arrive, and Carol spends a little time with each one of them, she comes to realize that there's some secrets being kept from her and Mike. And she says so to Mike, who isn't completely convinced that his wife is right. Well, it comes out in the end that she is. What I forgot to mention is Carol also had a secret she was keeping from Mike at first. That was Ted Hollister, or whatever his name is. The guy that Mike was working on a house for. Mike was very thorough about making sure that there was safety precautions put in place on the new building that he had designed. Well, the guy that he was doing the designs for didn't feel that the safety procedures were needed, so he wanted to have them removed. And Mike said the only way he'd do that is if he left the project. Well, the guy let him go. And now on Christmas Day, the walls caved in. The safety precautions were necessary. 2 of the builders were trapped inside the building that had collapsed somewhat. Mike was called to the site, and he wound up trapped in there too. The Brady family actually wound up going to the site. And it was then that Carol began singing. I guess it was to give her the much needed hope that she needed. And Mike used that hope to get himself out after he helped in getting those 2 men out first. Well, they all got out, and none of them were hurt seriously, but they were all checked over and they were fine. Meanwhile, a reporter off to the side happened to glance up at the sign up above, which had the street names, after she mentioned that it was an outright miracle that all 3 men made it out. Guess what? It was another miracle on 34th Street. They were on 34th Street. Bam! Call back to the movie, Miracle on 34th Street. Well, finally the Bradys went back home, and then Nora and Kevin showed up. Or Nora showed up, that's right. Because Kevin was there with Greg. Yeah, it was Kevin. Nora came after she saw her family, and she decided this was the best place for her to be, as did her family. And then someone dressed up as Santa Claus shows up at the Brady home. Guess what? It turned out to be Sam, who was begging Alice to forgive him. She pretty much tells him, "Don't you ever do that again," and then They hug and kiss. All is forgiven. And yes, all the secrets were revealed. Pretty much the whole thing was a throwback to the past, but and a little current flavor to it too. You see, when Cindy first arrived, Greg went to greet her, and he mentioned how she wasn't wearing curls anymore. And Cindy says, Greg, I haven't worn curls for 10 years. I haven't, basically a long time. He says, I know. The movie was good. Tad bit cheesy, but not bad. It actually also served as a prequel to the upcoming series, The Bradys. This was actually a very good movie, and I hope you'll consider watching it if you can find it online, or if you have it. Anyway, with that said, we will see you tomorrow when the next one is... Let's grab my book here. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. The TV special. Alright. We will be seeing you tomorrow then. Bye.
See ya!